Okay, so I have done my research. I have spent oodles and gobs of time going through different websites and different articles on the teenage brain. I've chosen my two extra areas, sleep in the teenage brain and risky behaviors. I have so much information that it's coming out of my ears. And now I am ready to start creating my outline. So what in the world do I do? First things first, you're presented with this as, okay, so I'm ready to do my outline. Here's my wonderful outline template. Okay, guess what? You're nowhere near ready for this yet. Okay, so slow your roll just a tad, and let's talk about what you are ready for. You have these three giant areas with all of this information, so how are you supposed to figure out a way to tell somebody about this information? Right? So you have all this stuff on brain facts, you know, all this stuff about the teenage brain and how it prunes and myelination and all this other stuff. Well, that's great. Okay. And then over here, you know about risky behaviors and how the prefrontal cortex is not developed correctly until, or enough, until mid to late 20s. You know why teens act in the way that they act because you've done the research. That's awesome. Over here, you know everything there is to know about teenagers and sleep and the brain and why they need to have 9.25 hours of sleep in order to have their brain functions operate at specific, perfect, pristine capabilities, right? Okay, so you know all of that, and that's fantastic. But what in the world? How do you take all of that information and turn it into this? Well, that's what we're talking about. Okay, so the spot to begin is really the spot that most of you would think, oh, well, I'm going to just wait on. And that would be the thesis statement. Okay, we've got to begin with the thesis statement because that shows us what our whole paper is about. And if we don't have a thesis statement, we have a huge problem. All right, now let me talk to you about the 3-point thesis statement. That's what I want you guys to do this time. Okay, it's called a 3-point thesis statement, and it means just exactly what I said. There are 3 points. Okay, now if we talked about McDonald's, and I said, what are the 3 best things to order from McDonald's? I'm going to have to really think about that, guys. I don't know why I chose McDonald's. Okay, I'm going to say a sweet tea. Hello. A cheeseburger and French fries. I don't know. Or fires. Whatever you want to call them. Okay, so I'm going to say that those are the 3 best things that you can order from McDonald's. Now, you don't have to agree with me. That's the whole point, right? That is the entire point, because a thesis statement has to be arguable. Okay, people need to be able to argue with you about it. So when I am writing my thesis statement about the 3 best things to get from McDonald's, and it's my 3-point thesis statement, I have 1, 2, 3 things that are going to be in my thesis statement. So, whoopsie. Sorry. And now see, I put an exclamation point after sweet tea. Perhaps I'm in need of more caffeine today, because there should never be an exclamation point at the end of your thesis statement. Okay, so this is a 3-point thesis statement. And what's cool about the 3-point thesis statement is that as a reader, when I look at that, I know that you're going to talk about those things, those 3 points, in the exact same order that they come in your thesis statement. You're going to talk about the cheeseburger first, then you're going to talk about the French fries, and then you're going to talk about the sweet tea. Okay? If I start reading your paper and you start talking about sweet tea first, guess what? That's going to be a problem because that's not in the same order as your thesis statement. So you have to make sure that when you do a 3-point thesis statement, your paper follows that same organization. Okay? That's huge. All right. And so you're probably sitting there going, okay, so that's great for McDonald's, but what am I supposed to do with my brain facts? I have all this stuff revolving around brain facts and sleep and risky behavior. So how am I supposed to create a thesis statement based on that? Well, here's how to do that. So I know that all three of these things need to go into my thesis statement, right? And so just by that fact, I know that my thesis statement is going to be kind of long. And the thing that I need to remember too is that my thesis statement is one sentence. It's not 2 sentences, it's not 3 sentences, it is only 1 sentence long. And it can't be a run-on, okay? That means it can't be 2 sentences shoved together with no punctuation. And it can't be a fragment. I mean, I really have to think about this thesis statement, all right? So it can cause some anxiety, sure, okay? But it shouldn't. So let's talk about this. I know that I need to have something about basic brain function, sleep, and risky behaviors. So I just kind of start talking it out. I might want to use the word understanding. What else might I want to use? Learning. Obviously, teen brain. I'm trying to figure out what might be the best approach to including all of these. So let's just see. Remember, I have to make it arguable. So maybe I say the 3 most important. Okay, so just by saying those 4 words, I've already made it arguable because some people can go, you might think those are the 3 most important, but I sure do not. Okay, so just by saying that, I've already made my thesis statement arguable. So that's awesome. Okay, so the 3 most important aspects, I don't know, of understanding, grab that word, the teenage brain are basic brain knowledge, how sleep affects, let's get the right one, Riley. Let's see, the brain, maybe I wouldn't say the teenage brain, the brain, or maybe their brains, and how the brain influences risky behaviors. Let's look at that for just a second. So as I look at that, I don't know. I mean, it's fine. It is arguable. We can see that it's arguable right here. Okay, as I said. I don't know. I'm never happy with a first thesis, and this is right off the cuff. So I might try it again. And I might try with learning this time. Learning about teenage brain development. The effects of sleep on their brains. Risky behaviors, and how their brains play a role in the risky behaviors they choose to partake in? I don't know. Learning about teenage brain development helps society understand teenagers much better. So let's get rid of that spelling error. Okay. Learning about teenage brain development, the effects of sleep on their brains, and how their brains play a role in the risky behaviors they choose to partake in, helps society understand teenagers much better. Now, this makes it arguable because I can say, you know what? I can learn about all of that and I still think that teenagers are a hot mess, and that did not help me at all. Now, I would not say that because I have raised teenagers. I love teenagers. I miss having teenagers in my house. I also love this next phase, so it's been really cool being a parent. But I can also tell you that some people would definitely argue with this and say, I can know everything there is to know about the teenage brain, and it's not going to help me at all. And that's fine. Haters gonna hate, right? So these are two examples of what I could come up with for these facts, okay? Because the first thing I have to do on that outline is I have to figure out what my thesis statement is. So let's go back to what is due for you guys. Let me grab this. There we go. Because you can see that the only thing that's due for you is just your thesis statement here. Okay? Just your thesis statement. So you'll write your thesis statement in there. And then when you look at the rest of this for what is due, because when you look at the example and then you look at what you actually have to write, I think that this helps just a little bit to look maybe at the one that doesn't have all the writing. Okay, because all the writing scares some of you. So we'll look at this one instead. Okay, so now where's my Word document? If this, let's say, I don't care. I mean, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, right? We don't care which one we're going to use. So let's say that I'm going to go with this first. Because in my opinion, I'm going to tell you right now that brain development needs to come first in every single person's paper. Okay? Because, hello, the brain facts needs to come first. Okay? So, pardon me. What am I doing right now? Well, for my own understanding, if this is the thesis statement that I'm going to use, then I want to know what order I had them in. So I did brain development, effects of sleep, and risky behavior. Okay? So I know now that I need to have a Roman numeral 1, and it's going to be something about brain development. And Roman numeral 2 is going to be effects of sleep on the brain. And Roman numeral 3 is going to be risky behaviors. And actually, Roman numeral 1, I apologize, will be my intro. There we go. Okay. All right. So if we're working on the body, okay, now we're working on the body. So brain development. So what in the world did I learn? Okay, I have all these facts, right? I have all these note sheets on brain facts. I've got all this information crammed into my cranium right now. So what in the world do I write? Well, that's where you, as the student, need to go through all of the information that you have just in this packet. Okay? And you need to start going, okay, what is the information that I need to tell people? Okay, if this is my thesis statement and I'm telling people that learning about basic teenage brain development is important for them to understand teenagers, what do they need to know about what I researched? So what are the most important things? Okay, and then you start pulling those out. Well, I think they have to know about X, and I think they have to know about Y. Those are huge. Okay, so then you start to pull those out. And if you take a look at your template, what I've done is I've asked you to make the A's, okay, topic sentences, and the details, your examples, okay? All right. And so what in God's name do I mean by that? Okay. Well, here's the deal. Let's go back to this. Okay. So what I mean by that is, okay, and that would be a capital A, but Microsoft Word is correcting it. So I would need to have a topic sentence here. Okay. The teenage brain develops much differently than, wait, how about we say the teenage brain is much different than that of an adult brain, or that of an adult's. Okay. So what are you going to tell me? How is the teenage brain different than an adult brain? And so let's say that I've taken all of my research and this is sort of what I have. Okay. I have the components of the brain, right? I know that there's the prefrontal cortex and it is like in charge, right? And the gray matter and the white matter, and the synapses and the myelin, okay? And those are like the different pieces of the brain, okay? And really, I mean, we learned this from Frontline, right? Okay, so the different pieces of the brain. Okay, and then we've got brain development. So we know that the cortex gets thicker with age, which is important, right? And then we know that things have to be pruned, just like on a plant. Okay, if you want the plant to grow, you have to cut pieces of the plant off. Well, that happens in your brain. If you're not using it, your brain's like, don't need it, get rid of it, right? And included in the brain development, adolescents' brains are becoming more efficient because that pruning process is taking place, myelination is taking place, and we're talking about just about the basic development of the brain. And then we get into brain chemistry, all right? And we can talk all about the brain's chemistry if we wanted to. So let's say these are my notes in a nutshell, okay? Now these would have been spread over multiple note sheets, but I've taken only, everybody say only, I've taken only what I needed from the brain facts and narrowed it all down, right? And so what I might do is, when I'm looking at that, I might put my topic sentence, because why is there a place marker there for topic sentences? Because a lot of you don't put topic sentences, all right? So I might change it up a little bit and make this my A, and I might put brain components. Whoops, sorry. And then B might be brain development. And then C might be brain chemistry. Okay? And this is all in that first paragraph. And so what about the brain components do they need to know? Well, and this would be a number. Microsoft Word, love you. Ugh. Okay? So, brain components. Well, we need definitely to talk about the prefrontal cortex or the cortex, whatever, right? Oh my gosh. Okay. And let's see, what else would I have? Maybe we should definitely talk about gray matter and maybe myelin, because that's important. Okay. And then under brain development, oh, you're killing me. You're killing me, Microsoft Word. Okay, we're going to pretend like it didn't do that. So whatevs. Okay, we're going to talk about pruning because that was huge, right? We're going to talk about the fact that the cortex thickens. And you're going to talk about all that that means, okay? And then let's say that this over here was brain chemistry. And I'm not going to really talk a whole lot about brain chemistry. So I'm just going to put a C. I'm not even going to put details under it because I'm just going to mention it. Okay. So then all of a sudden, boom, I'm like, okay, I have all my information that I'm going to talk about. I have my thesis statement. Okay. Now, if I put down all my stuff that I'm going to talk about here, and then I go back and I look at my thesis statement, I might want, or my, excuse me, my topic sentence. Ooh, right? Because this is my thesis statement. Dang, Riley. Way to screw it up. Okay. Maybe we do that. Okay. All right. And maybe I don't like my topic sentence now, right? Maybe I want to say the teenage brain goes through a wide variety over the course of several years. Okay, maybe I like that one better. I don't know. Okay, this is up to you. You guys are the authors of these papers, not me. Okay, I'm just showing you, I'm just like thinking through it and talking aloud as I go. Okay, so that would be what I would do for the brain development part. Okay, that would be like my little outline that I'm going to turn in. I have my topic sentence. I have what I'm going to talk about. Then I would go down here and do the same thing for sleep, not on the teenage brain. Has that been bugging you guys? Wow. Sleep in the teenage brain and risky behaviors. I would do the same thing for what I learned about them. Okay, I would come up with my topic sentence. There it is. Oh, holy smokes. Riley. There it is. That's what I meant to do. Okay, and then I would come up with, use my notes and say, okay, this is what I want to talk about. And what's cool is when I'm ready to write my paper, this is like my map. Okay, I can go, oh my God, I can't remember what I was going to talk about in my first giant paragraph. Oh, look, here's my topic sentence. I'm going to talk about the changes that the brain goes through. Okay, well, first I should probably talk about the brain components. Boom. See? And then you'll talk about brain development, and then maybe a little on brain chemistry, and right into sleep and the teenage brain. So I hope that that clears up for you what it is that you're doing with your outline. You've worked so hard gathering all of this research information that I want to make sure you understand now how to turn this research information into an outline that will help you write your papers. Hope that helps.